Hello and welcome to Anxiety Hack. So I'm your host, Kate Hudson-Hall, and thank you to everybody for listening. It's fabulous to have you here. So now let me begin by just telling you a little bit about my new book called Anxiety Hacks. And it is a book which is packed full of lots of information to be able to help you to begin to break those difficult triggers and patterns and behaviors around your anxiety. And there's also a companion course that goes, a free companion course that goes with the book. And in the companion course, there are videos of me showing you how to practice each of the techniques that I teach in the book. And there's lots of other information that's not in the book and downloadable tables and all sorts in there. So if you want to check out my book, it's called Anxiety Hacks and it's on Amazon. So check it out. Now, my fabulous guest today, my fabulous guest is Lorna. Now, Lorna is an energy alignment coach, intuitive healer, Reiki master teacher, advanced theta practitioner, and NLP mindset coach for psychics, healers, and entrepreneurs. And Lorna works with entrepreneurs and leaders to release control and anxiety, to calm their pragmatic, logical mind through intuitive connection and healing. She's a founder of Energy Ignite Global Mass Healing and membership and the Certified Reiki Academy. So it's her mission to help create a positive impact on Earth, and through her own healing journey, she now teaches and guides men and women on their own essential journey and spiritual awakening process. So much to unpack, Lorna. Well, welcome and thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, it's fabulous to have you here. So, Lorna, let's start. So tell us about your journey with anxiety.
Yeah, it's a biggie. We were having a conversation before, weren't we? Anxiety is something that I'm really passionate about. I actually started my business because of my own journey with anxiety. So about 9 years ago, I was hospitalized with anxiety. And at the time, I was in a senior management job with a lot of pressure, with a high level of responsibility. I didn't have much training. And I was basically a firefighter. They employed me to come in and do the dirty work. They employed me to come in and set up processes and systems, which of course had a huge backlash. And the staff that I was managing actually threatened to poison me, and it went to court. So it was quite horrific. And the way in which I've been conditioned is to just get up and go. So with that forceful energy of just getting up every day, turning up for work, of course, a year later, I crashed and burned. And at the time, I was just running on empty. I was skipping meals, and I was, addicted to coffee. And of course, coffee is a huge a contributor to anxiety. And I was having heart palpitations. And when I was hospitalized, I went to the doctor and they said to me, "You're suffering with anxiety." Now, 9 years ago, anxiety wasn't really well spoken about. So I remember them telling me, and I remember saying, "What on earth is that? I don't know what anxiety is." And now, it's everywhere, isn't it? It's all over the place. But at the time, it was a very scary situation for me. I was living on my own. I had really poor health physically, and anxiety was just a key component to all of that. And through going through my own healing journey, and finding the tools and techniques that help me cope and manage through that, is what then enabled me to say, I'm on a mission to help others. And that's when I started my business.
Wow. I'm on a mission.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's one of the reasons why I became a therapist, because when I sort of came out the other side of 15 years of bulimia and anxiety and just a dreadful time, I spent 4 years with a therapist. When I came out the other side and sort of kind of came to life, I suppose, that was when I was like, I want to be able to help other people how I've been helped.
Absolutely. Yeah. I love that. There's a lot of people that want to start a business or help other people from their own journeys, which is amazing. And I would say from a spiritual perspective, that's your soul's calling. You know, I'm a massive believer that we go through these things in our lives to find and navigate and lead our way through it so that we can then be the light for others that are also going through that.
Yeah.
So I see it as a blessing, really.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So Lorna, when you started to sort of take back control of yourself, your whole being, what helped you? What did you find that was really helpful?
Believe it or not, I went to a networking event, absolutely crippled with anxiety. So, of course, it's perfectly natural to go and plonk yourself in a room full of loads of people. I don't know why I did that. But I did, and divine timing. I was meant to be there. I met a lady. We ended up talking about anxiety, and she said to me, "Have you thought about having healing?" And I said, "I have absolutely no idea what it is, but I will grab hold of it with both hands and I will charge towards it, because I will do anything to feel better again and to feel like me." So off I went. I rang this lady and off I went for this session, which I had absolutely no idea what it was about. I didn't even ask any questions. Knocked on this lady's door, went up to her therapy room, saw the therapy couch, and went to turn around and said, "I don't think I'm meant to be here for a massage." I had absolutely no idea or expectation of what it was. She talked me through it. We went and had my first healing session, and it was a very, very pivotal breakthrough point for me. As soon as she placed her hands on my third eye and on my crown, I instantly, it was like a fireworks show going off in my mind. I saw these words saying they won't hurt you anymore. This is your path to healing. I saw so many different colors, faces, vibrations. It was amazing. Of course, at the time I was thinking, oh my gosh, what is going on? Because when you have anxiety and no one really talks you through it, it's worse. And I think that's also, you know, fast forward into what I do now. That's why I now train people in healing, because I'm really passionate about being thorough with your training and understanding the emotional impact that it can have on people. So talking them through step by step by step by step, because it can be very overwhelming. But that was the key point of how I got into healing. And that is why I now trained as a healer, why I have my own healing academy, because it was that actually helped me through anxiety. Healing is something that can be perceived as very mystical and very spiritual, and, you know, generational wise, you know, we were called witches and voodoo and all that jazz. But in actual fact, from a scientific perspective now, we have these amazing spiritual leaders like Joe Dispenza and Louise Hay, and they talk a lot about energy and how energy and emotions are the same thing. And all anxiety is really is an energy block. Anxiety actually is an emotional imbalance that sits within our solar plexus, so in the center of our stomach.
Yeah.
And it is a physical cause from an emotional symptom. And that's really one of the things that I do when I teach and train healing, is actually giving people the understanding of the cause of it, and then giving them the tools and techniques and how they can clear it and how they can start to dissolve it.
So I love that. So Lorna, so for our listeners, so, you know, what can they do for themselves right now to be able to learn from this?
I would say if you are suffering with anxiety and it is consuming your day-to-day life, one of the key things I would say is to actually bring more self-awareness into your energy. a lot of us are really caught in this fast-paced lifestyle right now. We saw us slowing down in the pandemic. I now see things speeding back up again. And I think there's a lot to learn from that. And I think actually tuning back in with your body, connecting to yourself, understanding your energy, understanding your emotions, processing your emotions, bringing that self-awareness and knowing how to express it. There's a lot of us, we're actually paralyzing ourselves and our emotions, and we're actually causing energetic congestion within our body because we're not feeling and processing our emotions. And that's all anxiety is. It's emotional led. So actually understanding why this is showing up, understanding the root cause, bringing in that self-awareness is the very first step. And then secondly is actually bringing in these energetic practices. So actually knowing how to clear your energy, how to bring yourself back into alignment, to bring yourself back into flow. And for me, when I was doing presentations and flying around the world and doing different things that, you know, meant that I was in busy places suffering with anxiety, I felt very empowered to know that I had this tool at my fingertip, to know that I could be sat on an aeroplane or in a train station and all I needed to do was give myself healing. And I didn't need a book. I didn't need a manual. All I needed was to place my hands on myself, set my intention and clear my energy. And I could just calm myself down. And that was such a fantastic tool for me.
So how could our listeners, how could they use it for themselves? What could they do?
So for healing, so for me personally, I use a modality called Reiki, which is a type of healing modality. And I'm a trainer now in that. So
for people that don't know what Reiki is.
Yeah. So Reiki is a Japanese holistic practice. It's been around for a very, very long time. And it's basically a form of healing that restores your body back into balance, into emotional balance. And you start off, there's 4 different levels, but the beginner's entry level is a great introduction in, and it teaches you different tools and techniques where you channel healing through your hands, through touch, and you use different positions to rebalance your energy. And that's essentially what happens. And for me, when I did my beginner's course, it was just a 1-day course. I actually teach it over 8 weeks now, and we go much deeper and thorough because I think times have now changed. And with that course, you will understand your energy centers. You'll understand the emotions that sit within the cells of your body, that sit within the tissues, your organs. And you understand if you're suffering with physical pain and anxiety and mental imbalances, you'll understand where it sits in your body, and you'll have the tools at your fingertips on how you can clear it. And it's like gold dust. And you think, wow, if everybody had that.
It's fantastic. Yeah.
What an amazing, empowering tool.
Yeah. So because I'm a Reiki master as well. And so, yeah, I love Reiki. It's amazing. And so it's like the body's energy that flows throughout our body. And when somebody has, say, anxiety, there's a blockage in the energy.
Yes.
So by practicing Reiki on yourself or having an appointment, a session, then that unblocks the energy.
Absolutely. Yeah. Dissolves the energy, eliminates it. And it's amazing, isn't it? It's such an amazing tool and technique. I never imagined that something like that would have such a transformation on my life. And it isn't just the energy blocks, you know, with anxiety, you're creating a vibrational shift within your entire field.
Yeah. Fantastic. So what would you recommend to our listeners?
I would say in order to overcome your anxiety, some of the practical tools and techniques, obviously, I'm always going to shout out about energy healing because that's something that I'm massively passionate about. And, you know, there's so many short meditations and healings and clearings available. You can use crystals. So really, really easy tools and techniques. They also work on a vibration. So with anxiety, you can go to a crystal shop. You can get a citrine crystal. This works really great for anxiety. You can place it on your solar plexus, at the center of your stomach. And anxiety as well, breath work is amazing for anxiety. There's so many different modalities that you can use, but I think the key for me is actually getting to the root cause of where it comes from, because it's all very well having these tools and techniques, but actually when you understand where it comes from, it has a longer lasting result.
So what do you mean by that? So the root cause. So for people that maybe don't know what that means.
So when it very first started and why and how it started. So it's understanding the mind-body connection. So we actually, with every single experience that we've ever gone through within our life and every single memory, we have an emotional attachment to it. So everything that we've ever witnessed through the eyes, the lens of our own eyes, is stored in the cells of our body. And with each memory and experience, we have an emotion. It's either a positive emotion or a negative emotion. And those emotions have a vibrational frequency. And so anxiety is perceived as a negative emotion. I hate using that terminology, but that's how we refer to it as in our industry. But essentially, it's a lower frequency. So it's actually understanding where that comes from. And emotions work in building blocks. You know, imagine as a child and we were given those building blocks. It's actually what you'll find with anxiety is that it is a buildup of several events where you have experienced things where you have felt out of control. Anxiety that relates to your solar plexus, actually from an energetic perspective, that center, the emotions that we store within there is to do with your power. It's to do with you feeling disempowered, you not believing in yourself, self-esteem, your lack of self-worth. So it's actually understanding the very first experience where you felt as if you were out of control. You felt as if your power had been taken away from you, disempowered. And it comes, and then if you go through another layer, it comes from the emotion of fear. So there's lots of different layers. And through using healing and actually clearing your energy, you'll get more clarity as to where that comes from, and you'll literally clear it in the cells of your body.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's
Yeah,
amazing. So what about your anxiety now?
Yeah, I just don't suffer with it anymore. It's like, and I can't even begin to tell you when it happened, because I think the more and more that I've got into my healing work, the more and more I've just become more connected to myself. It doesn't even come into my mind anymore. Because I also believe, you know, anxiety as well, is really about your mindset, because of course, anxiety can be a scary place. And you almost feel anxious about getting anxious, and then you're just in this spiral.
Yeah.
So if you can prime your mind and actually know that you are in control, you are the creator of your life, that your thoughts in your mind create your external reality. And if you can start by priming your mindset every day and knowing that actually whatever happens in your day, if you were to experience an anxiety attack, or you were to feel anxious, you have the power at your fingertips to be able to deal with that situation, and you are resourceful. And I think if you prime your mind in that way, it feels a lot more empowering, because what we do when we are anxious, it's about us wanting to control things as well, wanting to control everything. And we get scared when situations or events happen that we can't control. But as we know, gripping on and holding this attachment to things isn't real life, because things are fluid, energy is fluid, things move on a daily basis. And our job as humans is to become adaptable to that, and to know that whatever life throws at us, whatever event, whatever experience, we will deal with it. So it's about coming back into our self-belief, trusting in ourselves, knowing that we are resourceful, knowing that whatever happens on that day, whether it's in or out of our control, we have the power to deal with it.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you say, it's giving yourself clear direction about where you're going with this each day. Giving yourself maybe a positive affirmation, a positive phrase that you can focus on for that day.
Absolutely. So we were talking before, I'm going through my own healing at the moment. I have a lot of physical problems with my back. I'm very aware of the emotional aspect that I'm holding within my body. As you do as healers, you can be very aware of it, but it's what you do about it that matters, and the root cause. And every day I'm telling myself, with every day I get stronger. I'm telling myself that. And the more that we tell ourselves that, the more that we believe it. Self-talk and what you say to people also holds a vibration. So if you're suffering with anxiety and you're constantly saying to people, I feel anxious, the universe will give you more of it through the law of attraction. So it's very much about being mindful, and it's not about throwing things under the carpet. Absolutely, we have to bring it into our awareness. We have to process it. We have to feel it. But it's being very mindful of your self-talk and what you're saying to yourself. That yes, I had anxiety. I felt anxious, but with every day I get stronger.
Yes, absolutely. It's working with that unconscious part, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Unconscious part of your mind.
Mm.
Because the more that you focus on feeling calm, feeling clear, feeling healthy, the more that you'll get more of that.
Absolutely.
Because your unconscious mind will focus on that and help you to take you into that direction.
Through my experience, when I had anxiety, I was operating in fight or flight. My nervous system was all over the place. I was pushing and forcing and attaching to everything in my life. I didn't really know what flow was and how to trust and surrender. I wanted to control everything. And I actually went to see a therapist when I was signed off work. And the first thing she got me to do was she took me on a road trip to a forest. And she told me to take my shoes and socks off and place my feet in the earth. And I was thinking, I've paid you £50 to take me to a forest to take my shoes and socks off. And now I can look at that and say, I know exactly why she did that. She was getting me to connect to the earth and getting me to connect to my senses, because I was so disconnected from myself.
Yes.
That she was getting me to come back into my body. And that's a really powerful tool.
Yeah. And I think for a lot of people, they don't realize how the mind and the body is, connected.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think in the, nowadays we refer to it as the matrix, don't we? But this current paradigm that we're shifting away from, where in the workplace, it's very much about evidence-based facts before we make a decision. And it forces us to have this pragmatic, logical approach. But the reality is we're energy beings and we do have to feel, but we've just become part of this society where we get so disconnected from ourselves. And we have this new wave now coming in, an energetic wave where we're all starting to press pause and actually reap the benefits of understanding ourselves on a deeper level.
Yeah, which is what we need to do, isn't it? So you have a free gift for our listeners.
I do. I have a little freebie. Yeah. So I have a free training. It's a 30-minute training. And it teaches you all to do with your energy blocks. So especially if you're in business, I talk about how things can show up in our business and we're not aware it's actually our energy blocks that's driving that behavior. So it's really useful. And again, it brings in that self-awareness of how you can clear your energy so that you can then see more success and alignment within your business as well.
And so how could they use that with, so if they are maybe at work and they get very anxious?
So if you, when you listen to the training, I talk you through the 7 main energy centers of your body. And I talk you through the practical reality of how that shows up. So for example, that training will show you that if you feel anxious, it's related to your solar plexus. So if you do some healing on your solar plexus, that will dissolve the anxiety that's showing up in your reality.
And do you show people how to do, how to do that?
Yeah, so healing is something that you can certify in. You can certify in healing, or you can use other healing modalities like crystals, breath work, and things like that.
Oh my gosh, it sounds very interesting. Freebie. I think we all need it.
Yeah, it's great. It's just getting people to understand and raising that awareness, isn't it? Because I think we're very good at talking about what we don't want, but we're not very good at actually talking about what we need and going out and finding
what we do want. Yeah. Yeah. Oh gosh, Lorna. So how can people find you?
You can come and find me over on Instagram. My handle is Lorna_Jane, JAYNE_. And on Facebook, it is Lorna Jane Lifestyle Balance.
Oh, fabulous. So we can come and find you there.
You can.
So are there any books maybe that people could reach towards?
Yes. I actually did a book collaboration in 2017. It's called You Are Meant for More. We're an Amazon bestseller, so we are on there. And that was one of the very first books that I did. But I am writing a healing book at the moment, which will be published very, very soon. But it's all raw and real, so that's not ready for the listeners just yet. But stay tuned.
Has it been to the editor?
No. Oh no, it's raw and real. It's still very much in process.
Oh wow, we'll have to watch out for that.
Yeah.
And so have you got a website? Or
yes,
I suppose it'll all be on Instagram as well, will it?
Yeah, so my website is www.lorna_jane.co.uk. That is actually going to be up and running in the next 7 days. So I'm really excited to be launching that. That's really, really exciting. I think one of the things that I'm learning in my business is the more that we heal, the more that we understand ourselves, the more we're able to create that ripple effect in our business as well. So there's been lots of changes in my business this year because of the healing work and the self-awareness that I've brought in. And that's, again, something that I'm passionate about sharing with people that suffer with anxiety, that there is a new reality. And if you can expand your vision and actually focus on where you're heading and imagine and visualize what life would be like and how that would show up, it will really start to expand your energetic container.
Oh, absolutely. Oh. Let's all visualize where we want to be in the future.
Yes.
Or in a week, or maybe 2 weeks.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And get our minds refocused.
Yeah, I think a lot of us were just living day by day, but if we can expand our vision, one of my one-to-one clients was saying that today. She said, Lorna, I'm just such in the present moment. I said, we're going to change that, my darling, because that is what, if we can connect to a bigger picture, we create that positive emotion and feeling, and we create that high frequency within our body, and our energetic field expands and it doesn't feel quite so trapped and stuck.
Oh, wow. Oh, Lorna Jane. Oh, gosh. Thank you so much for all this valuable information.
Oh, you're so welcome. You're so welcome. It's been amazing sharing it with you. I could talk about this for hours. I love it.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. Oh, well, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. It's been amazing.
Yeah, thank you. And that's all for today's episode of Anxiety Hacks. And thank you to everybody for listening, and make sure you subscribe to the podcast and swipe to the right to give us a 5-star review. So thank you for listening, and I look forward to chatting with you in the next episode.